We can do this. Hello everybody and welcome back to Steel River Playhouse's story time. My name is Mr. Tell and this is Mr. Garry Bubbles the beta fish. Now what some of you may not know is I have tried to read this book before. It did not go well. And it's because I didn't know that rhinos were called rhinoceroses. Rhinoceroses. I didn't know that rhinos were called rhinoceroses. I thought they were called rhinosaurs. And so as I'm reading this book, I get to that word and I thought, oh, what? What is this? And I had a crisis. And so I stopped reading it. I said, no, put it away for now and come back to it on another day. And today is that day. Hippo-Not-A-Mus. Let's try it. This book is written by Tony and Jan Payne and illustrated by Guy Parker Reese. Oh, please, we can do this. We got this. Portly was a very young hippopotamus. He didn't ask to be a hippopotamus. He was just born that way, and he wasn't sure he wanted to be one forever. Hippos stood up to their eyes in water all day. They ate boring old grass all day. What sort of life was that? One day, Portly said to his mom and dad, I've been a hippo for long enough and now I want to be something else. Impossible, said his father, shaking his head. You're a hippopotamus and that's the way it is, said his mom. But Portly was a very stubborn hippo. We'll see about that, he said, and he stomped off. It's time for me to be something more interesting and to eat stuff with some taste, he called back. Portly had not gone far when he met a herd of animals. More hippos, he thought, but as he got closer, he saw that they had big spikes where their noses should be. You could do a lot of, well, tossing stuff around with spikes like that, he thought. Excuse me, Portly said politely to the nearest animal. What sort of creature are you? I'm a rhinoceros, said the animal through a mouthful of twigs. Well, I'm going to be a rhino thingy too, said Portly, but first, I need some spikes. Where did you get yours? The rhinoceros laughed. You could say I got my horns from my mother. Does she have any more? Asked Portly. No, said the rhino. You have to grow your own. We'll see about that, said the little hippo. Portly found 2 pieces of wood and sharpened them until they were pointed like horns. He tied them to his nose, but then he couldn't see. He tied them to the sides of his head. He tied them to the top of his head. He tied them underneath his chin. No matter what, he just didn't look right. He turned around to ask for some advice, but the rhinos were gone, so Portly continued on his journey with some horns sticking out of just anywhere. Before long, Portly saw a strange animal hanging upside down from a tree. That looks like fun. Excuse me, he said. What sort of creature are you? I'm a bat, I think, said the animal. And you are... I'm a hippo-noceros, actually, said Portly. So, what do bats do? The bat took ages to answer. Eat stuff, hang out. It's not easy being a bat, he added. We'll see about that, said Portly. He made some hooks out of bananas and tied them to his feet. Carefully, he climbed to the tree, then hung upside down. Now what? He asked. Now, said the bat, we wait. For what? Portly wanted to know. The bat thought hard. Wednesday, he said. So Portly settled down and waited for Wednesday. But after 5 minutes, the bananas slipped and he fell down from the tree. That's when Portly decided that 5 minutes was just about the right amount of time to be a bat. A little later, Portly found a water hole. Standing there was an enormous animal. Excuse me, Portly said. What sort of creature are you? I'm an elephant, said the animal. What, may I ask, are you? I'm a hippo-bat-a-noceros. And I'm going to be an elephant too, announced Portly. I want to spit water out of my nose. I want to smell something when I'm here and my nose is somewhere else. So I want one of those tube things and I want some big floppy ears. And the elephant had to smile. Wait a second, young hippo-bat-a-noceros. You have to be born with all those things. But Portly was determined. We'll see about that. Portly made big ears from 2 large leaves, and then he made a trunk out of vines, but what could he do with it? He wanted to trumpet tunes and pluck leaves and spit with it, but he couldn't. His journey was slow because his horns fell over his eyes and his hooks got caught on bushes. He kept tripping over his trunk and his ears flopped all over the place. By now, Portly was getting a bit bored with all of this excitement. He kept thinking about the water for some reason. Portly had not gone far when he met some new animals. They started on the ground like you and me, but ended above the trees. "Excuse me," said Portly to the knobby knees. "What sort of creature are you?" A head appeared from the leaves. "I'm a giraffe," it said. "What do giraffes do?" called the little hippo. "Eat leaves mainly," said the giraffe. "Can a Hippo-Not-A-Mus eat leaves?" Portly inquired. "I should think a Hippo-Not-A-Mus could eat anything," replied the giraffe. "Then I'll be a giraffe," said Portly. "But it takes years to grow all the way up here," exclaimed the giraffe. "We'll see about that," said Portly. Portly made 2 tall stilts out of branches and strapped them to his legs. But it was hard being up so high. Easy. Oops. Uh-oh. Help! Portly was now as hot and as hungry as a hippo can be. "I know just what I need," he thought, and Portly started out on a long trail that led him back to the river. Portly's mom and dad were standing up to their eyes in water when they saw their son. "Excuse me," said Mom, knowing who it was, but not letting on. "What sort of creature are you?" "I'm a Hippo-Not-A-Mus," Portly said proudly. "Well, are you hungry?" asked his mom kindly. "I'm afraid we only have boring old grass for supper. Do Hippo-Not-A-Mus, do they eat boring old grass?" "As a matter of fact," said Portly, "they like it more than anything." "Then come and join us," said his dad. So the young hippopotamus removed the stilts and slid into the river. That water felt wonderful, and the boring old grass tasted better than ever. He did not notice his ears floating away, his trunk sinking, and the hooks and horns falling off. Mom smiled at Portly. "Our own little hippo doesn't want to be a hippo anymore, so there's plenty of room for you if you would like to stay." Said Portly, looking up at some nearby monkeys and wondering what it would be like to swing from tree to tree by his tail. We'll see about that. The end. We got through the book today. I said rhinoceros like a bunch of times and I didn't mess up. I didn't say rhinosaur. So this is a big day for everyone. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed today's book. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow for our next one. Have a good one.